Well, hi, everybody. This is Heather Lockett with Lasting Conversations, and we are going cellular today. I'm so thrilled to have my dear friend and honored person on this planet, Kathleen Haden, with us today. Hey, Kathleen.
Hi, how are you, Heather?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you so much for being here again. Now, you and your husband, John Anthony, joined us last summer. I can't believe it's been a year ago already. And it was episode 41, what we titled Good Vibrations. And your very company that the two of you have is the Good Vibrations Music Company. And so we're here to expand on the information there. Everybody can go back and listen or watch that episode. But talking about how we're feeling, what's happening in this world, on this planet, and really as things are being shaken up, how we can find our peace and our calm and our presence. So welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone that's listening today. I'm so grateful to be here and to share and to just be part of this lasting conversations.
So thanks again. Now, Kathleen has had a long and varied career having to do with Pilates and music and having retreats and spas and wellness centers and working with water and aqua programs with all kinds of people. She's worked with corporate leaders and CEOs and athletes and parents and kids and people on the spectrums. And her work is just amazing and incredible, and it keeps evolving. And she and John have created these vibrational speakers, these acoustic musics and frequencies that are just delightful, that have helped me personally in so many ways. There's meditation, and then there's that deep cellular level. And so we're so thrilled about that. And then a little bit later, Kathleen will tell us about their new toy, their new amazing tool, which is their sonic immersion table. So, but before we get into that, Kathleen, tell us more, maybe a little about your history, your come from, but you have a very amazing message to bring forward for us today.
Yes, thank you, Heather. I have a background in health and wellness all my life. I've owned wellness centers for over 25 years plus. And my position in life, I was a PT, I was a kinesiotherapist, massage therapist, Pilates, aerobics, you name it. But my core was always helping others to feel better. And to this day, that's still my heart center, is to make people feel better in their own skin. And so with all these changing times that we're going through, first I want to ask everyone, how are you managing? How are you coping? How are you doing in these changing times? And when I went into meditation and prepared for this last night to see what the message was that my guides wanted to give you the most, it was about frequencies and vibrations. Our world is in a state of vibration. Everything has a vibration. Everything has its own frequency. And so where I am going into right now, into my career, is teaching people how to find that inner peace and harmony and bringing the body back into alignment. And so it all has to do with frequencies and vibrations. And so over the last 20, 30 years, our Mother Earth has been raising the frequency of our planet. Exponentially over the last 3 to 4 years, it has raised it to the point that our Earth's vibration was always at 7.83. And now on any given day, it's random. It has gone up to 12. And when I say that, that's how many times a vibration occurs in a second. So 7.83 is 7 vibrations in a second. And so if we get used to that and our bodies are attuned to that frequency and vibration, and then all of a sudden it goes up to 10 or 12 or even 15, we're going to feel that shift. We're going to feel that vibration increase. And so what I am seeing in all the research that's being done is We are in the age of Aquarius, right?
Right.
The age of air, the element of air. And this is when we go forward exponentially. We move forward with everything to do with air. Look at our space programs. We live on the east coast of Florida, and we are fortunate enough to walk out our front door and see rocket launches almost every day now from Cape Canaveral. Whereas rocket launches used to happen maybe once a month, once every couple months, they're happening daily. And if you follow anything with SpaceX or any of the space programs, exponentially, we're exploring space in all different kinds of ways and time and space. And so as that happens, and as the polarity of our planet is shifting, we are going to feel that internally. We're going to feel uneasy. We're going to feel that things are coming up that we didn't even remember we knew about from past consciousness, past lives, whatever you want to say. And it's being brought to our attention to examine and to see how to heal those inner wounds, how to heal and come into a place of the new earth. And when people are talking about the new earth, what does that mean? That means that we're shifting from a third dimension of reality to a higher dimension of fifth and beyond. And so what that does is it changes the emotional being of our planet as well. We are one with the planet. And I heard a really good talk the other night that really, there was one key thing out of that talk that really resonated with me. And he was comparing the earth and us. And, you know, we always hear we're like a drop of sand or a grain of sand in comparison to the universe. Well, what he was talking about is that we are Mother Earth and Mother Earth is us. And that we are a cell of Mother Earth, each human. And that how we activate our cellular structure to rise in harmony with the earth. And I feel like, how do we need to raise our vibration? How do we do that? I have people ask me all the time, people tell me to raise my vibration. What does that mean? Do I go into a drum circle? Do I go into something that is going to bring me into harmony? Those are all ways to do it. But really what it boils down to is watching your thoughts, watching your words, and watching your actions. And do they resonate with the new earth? The new earth is taking us to a place where it's unconditional love. Mm-hmm. And when we start to work from our heart space as opposed to our head space, we connect our brain with our heart and really work from here as opposed to here. That's where the magic happens.
Exactly. And I was just going to say, so in practical terms, because these are perfectly aligned and beautiful constructs. And for those who may have gotten a little bit lost in the conversation, is on practical terms, what looks like the crazy town that's happening on all our news stations and the things that are happening on this planet that can feel scary and confusing. And these are all the things that are up for all of us to observe and look at and watch. But how can we still remain calm and present within that, even when there's some really horrible things happening? So this gets to the root of what it is that you're talking about, is finding the way of perhaps reframing what we watch, what we listen to, how we engage in the world, and how we're engaging with ourselves and with each other. And it can be a very difficult and rocky process. And the physicality that you were mentioning, maybe some people, especially the super sensitives, can get headaches or the stomach goes out of whack. That was happening to me over the last number of months that you were so helpful with. Mine went straight to the gut. So we literally have medical and physical things that can happen all the while And of course, go to your doctors, go to your practitioners. But here are some tools and resources to know that on your base structural cellular level, there is music, there are people, there is nature, there are ways to tap in to navigate these times.
I agree totally with everything you said.
Yeah.
And thank you for bringing it back to that practical side. Because what we're experiencing is a
Hmm.
division of dimensions, as we call them, division of politics, division of all kinds of our structures within our culture that have been going on for years and years and years. And Mother Earth is our planet.
Hmm.
That is a female energy, the divine energy of our planet. And our female divine energy has been so squashed and so destroyed over time that it's really learning and returning back to that divine feminine energy. And what I'm seeing is that uprising of that energy is becoming more and more apparent.
Hmm.
We're seeing it I just returned from Mexico doing a retreat down there. And the big talk was how the women of Mexico have been praying for years and years to return their country back to the divine, back to Mother Nature, back to ceremonies that they used to do to
Hmm.
support the earth with prayer and ceremonies and drumming and just being a part of the nature of the earth. And these powerful women have been doing this for almost a decade. And what that showed me was through that collective, and not only was it the women were being supported by the men
Right.
to make this happen. And so we are a balance of male and female energy, right?
Right.
And our balance is so out on our planet that it's really about bringing the divine harmony of the planet back into the divine harmony of ourselves. And so, like you,
Absolutely. And that's that wholeness within. And because, the pendulum swung as it needed to decades ago, we would call it the feminist movement, or the hippies, or the generation that said something's got to give here. And now what we're seeing fast forward is a newer generation where the men are supporting this whole thing, because we all have our male female sides to us, no matter how we're born. And that's the exciting part. That's the part that I do keep seeing. And, heaven knows your husband is a perfectly divinely masculine man within that supportive feminine structure also. So it's that whole and balance. I'm seeing the yin and yang symbol. So this is what's very exciting. And I see it with the families, the dads with their kids. We just had the Celtics won, and here are all these, uber professional athletes on international TV just rocking their babies because they were dads. There's no longer that kind of a division of, women are over here and he-man men over here. This is what's changing. This is what's evolutionary and beautiful.
it is so beautiful. And that's
Yeah.
really what's happening on our planet. So the
Right.
division is you can stay in the old, that
Right.
external world where there's chaos and fear and anger and wars and all those negative emotions, or you can choose to go into a healthier environment where you have more balance in your life,
Hmm.
balance from within, balance in your cellular structure, balance in your life, balance in nature. You have to have both the light and the dark. You have to have both the yin and the yang, the
Hmm.
masculine, the feminine. You have to have it, but it has to be balanced. And so, what I really recommend for anyone just starting on this journey is to go to YouTube and watch a series by Joe Dispenza that really will inform you and show you the tools to start the journey of meditation and going within. And it's rewiring the hardness of our brain. It's just like a computer. You have a hard drive that runs your computer. Well, we have a hard drive of false information and limitations and fear that has programmed our brain for many, many centuries. And what this time is about is being able to reprogram that brain and bring it into your heart space where your heart governs as opposed to your brain. Your brain is like a computer. It's a machine. It's very important. But one of the most important things that have happened to us is the pineal gland, which was the gland that connected heaven to earth and us to heaven and into that field of joy and laughter and calmness and balance has been really destroyed. So a lot of the things you are seeing are how to activate that gland that really is a direct gland to our third eye for meditation, for going within. And it's not something that we've ever talked about in depth. It's not something we've even been aware of. But when you go back to ancient texts, this gland governed the body. Mm-hmm. And it was the source of our connections. And over time, it used to be like the size of a walnut. And now it's smaller than the size of a raisin. And so it's really about learning how to activate your consciousness and activate it in a positive way. And so it's kind of like, what do you listen to? What mm-hmm. type of music do you listen to? What type of TV do you watch? What type of people are you around? What are their words saying to you? Because we are 80% water, you know how much I love the water. Water is
that's right.
My go-to. That's where I do a lot of my work is in the water. We are 80% water. So whatever our consciousness is resonates in our body and reflects in our being and reflects in who we are, what our body is, how healthy it is. I was just listening to a study. 99% of our population is dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. You and I were talking about that just the other day, and I find I just received a beautiful tool that every sip I can just go, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So each one of us can receive different things that we might need, because you're absolutely right. There's something very odd. Even those of us who drink lots of water, some people just don't drink water, which we should. But what are we drinking and how is it being received in our bodies? It's very interesting, this whole dehydration and, quote, malnourishment pieces in such an abundant world that we live in, at least here in the U.S. It's very counterintuitive almost, but here it is. We've been hungry and thirsty.
Isn't that interesting? And
yeah.
You know, we worked with Dr. Emoto, and he was the one that studied water and showed how your words affected water crystals. And so he would do experiments all the time. And when he would say something kind and loving to the water, it made this beautiful crystal. Yeah. But when something was said negatively, it didn't even form as a crystal, and it might be dark and distorted. And so he was the one that really got us involved in what you say, what you speak to people, what you say and speak to yourself, most of all. Right. And what you show and speak to others. And so he was the one that said, you can just take that glass of water, hold it right next to you and tell it you love it. And when you drink that water, it goes into your cells and feeds and nourishes your cells. But if you're just grabbing a plastic bottle of water out of a store and you're drinking it down, it's not going to resonate with the water in your body, because water is the oldest memory on our planet. It carries all of the memories. And just like all the waters of the planet are connected. We are connected to everyone. And so the first thing I always tell people is you have to go within and love yourself
Mhm.
before you can love others or others can love you. And so when we're talking about changing dimensions, it's not that we're leaving the earth. It's not that we're going somewhere else to do this. This is right here, right now, in
Yep.
this present moment. Is when you wake up in the morning, how do you wake up? Do you jump out of bed to an alarm clock? Or do you let your body naturally wake up and you do a gratitude prayer in the morning of, thank you for letting me wake up today. Thank you for this beautiful day. I bless this day with blessings and opportunities for the highest good of myself and others, as opposed to just jumping out of bed, grabbing, your coffee and jumping in your car and going to work and you haven't set your stage for the day.
Right.
And I think if there's anything that I can say is really setting a stage for each and every day. The past is gone. That was already happened. The future's not here. So just to learn how to live in this present moment and be joyful in that moment, no matter what is being thrown at you,
Yep.
and looking at it from a positive perspective as opposed to a negative perspective will change everything in your life.
And that's exactly where that kind of circles back to that reframing or restructuring, rewiring, however it is that you're going to say it. And so, folks like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's really dialing in on the sciences of our brain, and there's so many people doing these studies. Sidebar, when you were talking about the water, I love watching videos of kids in school. They're doing their kind of science projects, but they're being shown how you speak to a plant or how you're doing the water with the I love yous or I hate yous or whatever, that you can physically see it. You can see what it is that you were just talking about. And that kiddos are learning these things as well. But of course, they inherently know this. They're just nothing but love muffins. Now, the other thing is there are so many amazing, there's Dr. Joe, there's Panache Desai, there's Jared Hewitt, there's Anita Marjani, there's so many, Dr. Bruce Lipton, there's so many of those on the forefront that have been talking about vibration and coming from our own foundational selves. And so if we've grown up in chaos, or we've grown up in lack of faith or structure, that has been what's informed our bodies, and that could be generational.
Right.
So, this is where we have this great opportunity now, that there are so many folks like yourselves, like the other people out in the world, that are here to say, have you tried this? And have you really looked deeply here to go within and find out, oh, maybe I need, instead of theming and saying, well, you suck because you've yelled at me. Okay, where have I given my own power away? And it's time to move on from
Right.
someone yelling at them, or that the energy of a job is sucking you dry, or even where you live is not soul affirming. And these are the shifts. Those are the changes. You're saying that there's not a disconnect. It's the shift, even from the spaces within ourselves, to go, this no longer resonates. And it could be time to move on to something else. So all of these tools in the toolbox, including and especially the music, the frequency, the water, is everything right now. It's paramount.
It is
Because it helps our
paramount.
psyche, because our everything right now, and I was just listening to somebody earlier today, everything that's up in the world, and the magic of our phones are great, but what is it that can really mess with our psyche? And it makes you think, I'm kind of going crazy here, or does that disconnect in the body that brings everything out of whack. And this is where to be mindful of where we're putting our focus and attention, and where to perhaps pivot the disco ball into having something else reflect what is best for our truest selves.
I think you said that so well, Heather. It all goes back to your reactions.
Right.
And something that's really hard is when you've been programmed to react a certain way,
Yep.
you automatically go there, right? You
Right.
automatically go there, no matter what
Yep.
path we're on, how deep we've studied, it takes you back to a conditioned response.
Yep.
And so what we try to teach in our program, we teach a lot of people, and we have our education program, as I told you, the Journey Through Sound and Water, starting up this fall, is starting with the basics. Just how do you talk to yourself? How do you respond to a negative comment? They did a study on children, which you work with a lot of children, I know, Heather, and so do we,
Mm-hmm.
is that those children could be told 99 times how good they are and
Yep.
how good they're doing. And one comment that tells them they're lousy or they got yelled at and told them they weren't good enough can affect them for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Those 99 positive things, they don't remember. They only remember that one negative thing. And so when we talk about your words and talking to others, even if you're in a discussion or you're in a place where you're disagreeing, choose to disagree
Right.
and fill that space up with love
Right.
instead of animosity.
Right.
And so I think everything goes back to love,
Yep.
unconditional love.
Right.
And what we have found, and we work a lot, as you know, throughout the Caribbean and Mexico, and we work with a lot of indigenous people. And what we have found, hands down, is that we all have been wounded on such a deep level,
Mm-hmm.
either by our family, by our parents, by a teacher maybe that yelled at us in third grade. I can still remember an incident that happened in first grade, to
Right.
me, and those are the things that we have to shift and change through forgiveness. And so it brings you to the practice of forgiveness. Can you forgive yourself first and foremost? And secondly, can you forgive those people that hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you send out forgiveness, it's like you're sending out a wave of gratitude and love to all these people on the planet. And you can do it to people you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great Hawaiian prayer that we teach, and I know have said it a lot.
I was just about to go there. Go ahead. Yeah, the Ho'oponopono. Yes.
Yes, and you start with, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you.
Right.
And during hard times, I probably have said this millions of times,
Right.
this prayer,
Yep.
literally,
Yep.
whether I'm out on my paddleboard on the ocean, whatever. We were taught this over the water with Dr. Emoto, this prayer. And that's how we started the focus of this prayer probably 10 years ago, was just learning that when you can forgive and love and ask for forgiveness and know that you've been forgiven for words you've spoken or actions you've done,
Mm-hmm.
then how easy it is to forgive others, how easy it is to move from, those feelings that are negative to those feelings of unconditional love. And as a planet, we reached the tipping point last year. We tipped to the light. We tipped to where love is more powerful than anything else.
Right.
And, we've been you follow a lot of people, we follow a lot of people, people follow us.
Yeah.
And it's really about tipping the planet back into balance, into that harmony. And when you can shift the harmony within you, the planet's going to shift with you.
Right.
Mother Earth is here to stay. So she is reclaiming her power. She is reclaiming her earth. And like I said, if we're one cell of Mother Earth, as a collective, we could change the entire planet through our
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, words, and actions.
And
And
vibration.
and our vibrate, which also relates to raising your vibration.
Right.
When you raise your thoughts and your words, that's
Yeah.
how you change your vibration.
It's so true. Now, this is a perfect segue because right behind you is one of your beautiful artwork, and also it says Vibrational Sound Lounge. So, and I know you've had studios and things, but tell us about this and tell us about the toys that you guys have and the frequencies and beautiful music that you bring forward because you showed us your speaker. You have a whole new item. You've had vibroacoustic tables before, but this is next level and portable and user friendly. So tell us about your vibrational sound lounges that we can take home with us.
Yes, we've been fortunate. We've been working in this field for about 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and about 10 years ago, or a little bit longer, we were introduced to putting music and frequencies in the water through our water program,
Right.
Aquamotion.
Which we've
And
done. I'm just going to side note that again, when we have done float therapies and floated with folks with cerebral palsies and things, or just the normal grown-ups in us and the kids in us too, to float, and really it's like that cellular massage in the middle of a swimming pool. It's outstanding. So sorry, I just needed to throw that in there. That's
oh
been
yeah,
so
of
fun.
course,
That's been
because
so
that's
fun.
where we started was in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I was a
Yep.
water therapist, and that's
Yep.
how we developed our water program.
Right.
And when I was in a movie called The Keeper of the Keys out in,
Yep.
um, we were able to introduce this program, and one of the members of the cast introduced us to putting frequencies in the water. Now, we
Right.
were very familiar with frequencies working with a doctor out of Colorado, Dr. Lynn, who was in our wellness center and taught us all about the Rife machine and holding on to current poles that ran the current through your body of frequencies and getting those frequencies balanced. She had a whole program. And so her and John worked together for, 2 or 3 years developing frequencies and research. So when we were introduced to putting the music in the water, that was like, wow, because you're in another environment. You're not on
Yep.
land, you're not in the
Yep.
air, you're in the water, which resonates with the water in your body.
Yep.
And so when we started working with that, we had to develop the music that went along with the water that had the frequencies for healing. And that's what really brought us to Florida was we've developed a water frequency bed for a local health and wellness spa down here. And as John and I became sound therapists and started doing all the research and working with a Rife generator and working with other frequency generators, what we started doing was learning the science behind all these frequencies and how you create recipes that actually go in on a cellular level to bring back that harmony to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we developed at the time, I was doing a lot of massage work, and I was like, how can we put the music on a table? And so John is a master craftsman, and he started looking at the massage table with another friend of ours who's a quantum physicist.
Mm-hmm.
And they started researching all the parts of the table, how to put it together. And all of our music is recorded in 432 hertz, which aligns with sacred geometry. So our table is also aligned with sacred geometry. The way the speakers and the transducers fit on our table with an amplifier is a very small footprint for EMFs. Mm-hmm. And most tables are powered by mechanical means. They have shakers, kind of like if you've ever stood on a vibrational plate,
right?
That's a mechanical vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And what we chose is to make our table a musical so that the music powers the table, not external vibration. Right. And so that created a different type of table. And as we were doing more and more research, working with all the scientists and working in the science world, we were able to really get the research done on our music. We were very fortunate in the early days to get in with Vesica Institute, which is Robert Gilbert of Sacred that teaches sacred geometry on Gaia and a lot of those. And they did a research project on our music with our speaker and gave it a stamp of approval because it was so powerful. So with our speaker, this little speaker that is vibrational, it has a vibration. You can hold it on your heart. You can hold it on your shoulder, wherever you're experiencing pain or different discomfort. And because frequencies they go through you and go through walls and windows and things, that if you don't need them, they don't harm you in any way. They just go on through. If you need them, then your body will gravitate and draw them into you. That's the best way I can describe it, not really the technical way. And so as a result, we have been using, like you said, a vibroacoustic table. And a couple of years ago, we were like, it's expensive, it's a little heavy, it's more stationary. And we have them in clubs and spas and hotels and clinics all over. But we wanted something that you could use at your home. Right. We wanted something that you could stick in the closet when you weren't using it, under your bed, and that was at a price point that you could afford. And so it was through a client of ours that asked us for specific needs of a table that John researched and found this perfect table that's adjustable. So it's on the first page of our website. I don't have a picture of it to show you today, but it's called the Sonic Immersion Table. And so this table elevates 7 levels. So you can have it flat and do massages on it or lay on it flat, but you can also elevate one end of it. So you can sit on it, you could read a book, you could have IV therapy, you could.
Oh, I didn't even realize that, because I was just looking at it on your website, and so it looks like a massage table, so it folds up. That's why it's so portable. You can put it in your car, massage therapist can take it, or you can have it in your home. So it looks like a massage table with the headrest and everything, but I didn't realize it did that nifty thing as well.
Yes, so
you can sit with it.
You can sit with it. And
wow.
So it takes it to a new level. If you're getting IV therapy, wouldn't it be nice to have that frequency and vibration for whatever condition you're dealing with while you're getting that IV therapy? Or we have facialists that are starting to use it. Acupuncturists, people that can't lay flat, they need an alternative.
Right.
And, what a better way to just, a lady recently bought one of our tables for her whole house. And she has it in her living room because she said that's where everyone always gathers. And she just turns it on in the evening, and whoever is drawn to it goes and sits on it, whatever they do. And when we call it a fully immersion, it's because you put your headphones on, and the headphones are how you get binaural beats to balance the right and left hemispheres of your brain. And then you put an eye pillow on and you lay there, and the sounds are completely enhancing you in a bubble effect.
And not just the headphones, because it's coming from the table itself.
It's coming from
infusing
the table.
Yeah.
You're getting it and listening to beautiful music.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to straight frequencies, they're like nails on a chalkboard.
Sure.
And there are times when we use straight frequencies for medical conditions with sound prescriptions. That's where it's going, is that last year I was trained in being able to recognize what organs are out of sync, what body systems are out of sync, and be able to write a sound prescription for that person, which is the cutting edge of what we're going to see in our medical world.
Yeah, the medical world is shifting into, there are still the Western style and Eastern style, and these newer technologies to understand really the nature of who we are and tapping in as you're talking about. It's very, very exciting.
And so our table, we got it to a price point that you can afford it.
Right.
And it's very easy to, like you said, it's portable. And so that's revolutionary for us because we feel like everyone deserves to have a good, healthy life, a good balance of their life, to live in an environment where you feel good all the
Right.
time.
Right.
And frequencies are cumulative. And walking in our house as many times as you've walked in our house, whether John's playing the keyboard or playing whatever he's playing, those frequencies are always here. You walk in and you just go, yeah.
Exactly.
And so if you can do that in your own environment,
right.
and a lot of times people will take the speaker into a corporate boardroom and 10 or 15 minutes before a heated meeting is about to begin,
right.
or a meeting that has a lot of impact, I'll put it, they'll set the speaker on with a very low volume and energize the room before that meeting starts. And I've had CEOs come back to me and go, why didn't I know about this sooner? Because it changes the whole dynamic of the meeting. Because if you're putting it on, just say for an example, our soundtrack for stress relief. Well, by the time those people walk in that room and that music's been playing for a few minutes,
right.
They're already starting to feel it the minute they walk in. Then they sit down in their chairs and it is encompassing that room. These little speakers cover about 1,200 square feet.
So what type of, you mentioned one of the sound frequencies, stress and relief, but so tell us some of the different things that people, because that little speaker comes with how many different programs and choices, and what are some of those choices for people?
We have our top 12 albums, and what those are our basic needs. We have sleep music on there to enhance your sleep. We have anxiety, we have guilt and fear, we have inflammation, we have well-being, muscle and joint vitality, cell rejuvenation. We have love and joy, and I can't remember each one of them. I'll just look at them real quickly. We have an album track called Ancient Tones that has all the ancient tones of the Savaggio frequencies. We also have a soundtrack called Inner Skyline with our top 6 frequency. So John has thousands and thousands of frequencies, directories that have been completely researched and known for specific conditions and ailments. And so when he took an overall, the top frequencies from all those lists, he picked the top 6 that were in treating most conditions, whether it be spiritual, mentally, or physically. And he put together those 6 frequencies in a track called Inner Skyline. So no matter what you have across the gamut, that you're dealing with, that one soundtrack can help you in navigating through that. Yeah.
This is beautiful. And so your menu of choices is vast. Your website is absolutely beautiful. I know it just got revamped and re-updated. And so people can actually find some of these frequencies as well on there, and aside from just the speaker. And I will make a plug earlier. Like I said, I had gotten a parasite in my gut, and you have frequencies for that too, dolphin energy. And, I did the other things I needed to do, but within that, those frequencies, it sounded lovely. It helped my quote fear factors with this whole gut weirdness. And it's just beautiful. So you really have a giant menu that is so helpful for so many people.
Yes. And,
And
a
it's all
lot of
to
our,
put our balance in because, as you're saying, the healing comes from in. And so whatever can be tapped into in these little nanoparticle nooks and crannies, that's what the whole vibration can help with as one of the tools, and as well as taking a walk or doing the physical things. But this is where the vibrational gets into our cells and can really just break something up that needs to be, maybe there's for asthma or respiratory. There's so many different things that can really get in there. I just love it. I appreciate all the work
and
that you
we
guys
have
are doing.
albums for our furry friends as well,
Oh,
because our
right.
furry friends are just as needed if, say, you have
Sure.
a pet that's scared of thunderstorms. Well, we
Right,
have
and then they take on all our crap too. A chaotic household. The poor animals, like, oh my god.
exactly. And so we had, a lot of people buy them for their pets and ended up
Yeah,
helping the owners just as much as the pets.
sure.
And so a lot of people leave our music on during the day for their pet, and they come home and their pet's happy and they're not anxiety filled. They haven't torn up the house. And so
Oh,
we
that's
have
good
that.
to know. That's good. Yeah, that's right.
And so we have a lot of options. We are a nonprofit. And so we give away a lot. And we have specific charities that we give to, that all you have to do is reach out to us. We'll give you as much as you want musicality wise for your
Hmm.
organization. We work with the spectrum, like you talked about, on autism. We have our music in a lot of autism schools. We're looking to go into some Palm Beach schools
Hmm.
to work with behavioral issues with our
Hmm.
music. We have the charity of PTSD we work with, which
Hmm.
everyone has a little bit of that.
Hmm.
And we work especially with trauma.
Hmm.
Trauma is the root, we feel like, of a lot of conditions. So if you can address the trauma, you can address a lot of other things. And then we also work with Parkinson's and dementia.
Hmm.
And those are brain issues. And so we are very fortunate to work with the Brain Center at FAU. We've worked with them, and you went to the first exhibit up at the Science Center in West Palm with us,
Hmm. Right.
where the opening of the brain exhibit, and we did our concert on frequency infused music up there at the same time to
Hmm.
bring balance to the brain hemispheres. So we're very science based, but we're also very um, out there. And so, we try to find that balance and harmony within our own selves, because a lot of times for years, we would talk to people and they just thought we had these four heads or something. And now, because of media and what's happening in our world, everything is becoming familiar with frequencies,
Right.
vibrations, changing your thoughts, changing your words, going into meditation, finding that harmony within.
Right.
Because when you find that harmony within, you can tackle anything that's external. And we have a little saying we always say, live in the bubble, stay out of trouble. And
I love it.
And we feel like when you live in that bubble where you're really around people that love you and you love them, and you stay in a bubble of harmony and happiness and joy, you really see that heaven is right here on earth. And I think our biggest vision is healing our planet, Terry Waters. And from that, we heal ourselves because we're 80% water. And so, the number one thing that is the biggest concern on our planet today, besides just global warming, pollution, those have been things that have come and gone throughout the eons. But really connecting to the water,
Yep.
connecting when you get in water, being grateful to be able to enter that water. I know people ask me all the time, aren't you worried about, going out so far on your paddleboard? And I said, I only go in the water if they give me permission. There's days when I hear absolutely not, do not come in the water.
That's right.
Those are
We've
the
talked
days I
about
don't
that.
enter.
Yep. We've talked about that, whether there's a redirect, and
Right.
that gets into tapping in and opening our pineal glands to tap into our guidance. But yes, where you were thinking, I'm going to go out for a big long paddle ride, and you got this, not today. And there are reasons for that. Maybe there's rip currents or sea lice or whatever is out there that is not meant for you. So this is just the other thing I'm going to put in there is you guys are fun. This stuff is fun. And so when we've had the concerts at the planetarium, or a lot of these different things to be at the beach and the sound baths, it's all to get to that playful side as well. Because let's face it, this we were talking about some quote heavy things, and it's very medicinal, but the medicine is the fun part. And that's where you and John just infuse joy. And when I've had my own moments of, I'm going to go hang out with these guys for a little bit, because, let's just inject some extra joy into the system here and the psyche. So that's ultimately, so we come from that spacious place, the peaceful space, and adding the fun and joy to our world and our planet, and to know that we get to dance and play and sing and drum and play the tambourine and all these fun things.
And that's what it's all about. We're
That
musical,
is, yep.
and so don't one of the hardest classes I took over the last few years was a class I took last year from Globe Institute, and it was learning to heal with your voice. Well, I was told when I was in probably second or third grade, I couldn't even sing in the choir at school because they said I was so bad at singing. And
Oh,
so what did I do? I carried that with me for years and years and years.
right.
And I grew up. I mean, I've always been around music. My parents ran a teen canteen where they had Friday night dances for the teens with my brother. And I grew up in the world of music. My son's very musical. John is music. I run a music company, but I never had the voice. And when I took this class, I had to learn to sing and find which notes were out of balance with myself. And now I sing everywhere. I sing what I don't care. We wake up singing to our grandkids, because even though they're miles and miles away, they still hear us.
Right.
That carrier wave still goes to them. And it was funny when I was recently down at in my grandkids' house, we were singing and they were singing the same songs that we sing to them.
So
Even
they
though,
could hear you, even though you're thousands of miles away.
right,
This is the oneness. This is the whole point.
that is the
Right.
whole point.
That's the whole
And,
point.
we have to understand that we are all interconnected,
Right.
and that everything we do affects someone else. Everything that's done affects us. And so, how do you want to affect others? How do you want to be affected by others? And so, that's finding that balance of living in the bubble, we call it,
Mhm.
of love and joy, to where those other emotions don't enter as often. And when they do, we can kind of resonate to a higher state and reverse the effects. It's kind of like going into that board meeting
Right.
with a music plan for stress reduction.
Right.
Um, you walk away a different person. You walk away feeling different. You may not know why or how, or Heather, you interview a lot of people. There's people that you walk into or you're in their field, and you just want to soak it up. You want to
Hmm.
have more of it, and you want to be around them a lot. And then there's people that are just the opposite.
Right.
And so that's the joy right now, is that we get to affect everyone with our own thoughts, with our own words, with our own actions. And why not be that person that's laughing and joyous, and people want to be around, as
Hmm.
opposed to that person that is down and depressed, and yes, we all go through those times, don't get me
Right.
wrong,
Right.
but it's how you respond to those
Right.
and react to those times versus anything else, really.
And I'm glad you said that, because the work here could sound woo woo and out there, but really it's very, very grounded. It's very earthly based and human based. And part of being human is to have emotion. We might have a shit day, and people die or things, we have grief and we have anger, fear, as well as joy and these blissful states. But this is not a bliss band-aid. This is now that reframing of, oh, I don't have to live in fear all the time, or chaos, or anger and resentment. Those are those constructs that we can, have a moment and look at them and then know, oh, but I don't live there anymore. I live over here now.
Right.
I live over here where it's fun, and that there's a different way, and it is a brighter way. And sometimes that will, again, I circle back to it, that might include maybe other friends or differing friends or combinations, where if you come out of a place or a party or whatever it is, and you don't feel good, there's a reason for that. And maybe it's time to go somewhere else or do something else that can feed you from those internal ways that we've just been talking about today.
Well, and I think the one thing I really want to stress is get into nature.
Yes.
We're blessed. We live in paradise, right? But a lot of people out there don't. And they live
in cities and
that are concrete, and in environments that are cold or, rainy all the time or whatever. But walk barefoot in your house, get grounded. Even if you just walk outside and step in the grass, those electrons that you no longer need will go into the earth to be transformed. And then you're pulling up the earth's electrons. We're energy. We're an energy system. And just like you have a positive and a negative of a battery, you have to have that positive, negative in our world. And so go barefoot. Don't be afraid to go barefoot. Wear your shoes less. Even if you're in those environments where that's not always possible, you can find a place to go into nature and just, take a big sigh of relief. It was interesting. I don't know if you saw the story. There was a guy in California recently that went for a walk and was lost for 10 days. But he was in the redwoods. And he made sure he drank a gallon of water a day from the fresh streams. And he had this amazing experience before he was located. And to hear his side of it was, I was just going for a walk one day, and 10 days later I'm found, kind of thing. And it was interesting because he lived off of the land. He lived off of the land he was lost in, but they supported him. They gave him fresh water. He had some berries, whatever it was. I don't remember the whole story. So no matter where you are, there's nature of some kind.
And it's here to help us. And it's here to help us, right? We're seeing
we're part of nature.
And we're part of it, right? The dolphins and whales that are coming up to the boats, and they're being playful, and they want to be engaging with us. And so it's a beautiful thing. It really, truly is.
And exchanging energy with a pet is an amazing way to exchange energy. It's unconditional love.
Right.
Just look at pets and look how they love you unconditionally. That's how we all should be, loving each other unconditionally.
Yep. Oh, this is beautiful. And Kathleen, is there any one more nugget? And certainly, how can people find you? What else would you like us to know about? If there's another little guidance piece, and of course, where we can find all your tools and the projects that you're working on. I think you mentioned something that's happening in the fall. Tell us a little bit more before we have to say our goodbyes.
Okay. The best way to find us is on our website, and that's goodvibrationsmusic.co.com. And just go on there. You can learn about research. You can learn about our team of amazing people. You can learn about our music. And we have free products. We have free music for you to download. One of the albums that we're highlighting right now is Love and Joy. Go on, download it, and really listen to it and see how it affects you. See how it changes you. see what you need. You can buy music off of the website. You can buy the speakers. You can buy our new table. You can reach out to us. And the biggest project we're getting ready to launch is in the fall, which we're working on. And you know this as very well, is that we are going to have an education course called Journey Through Sound and Water. And these are individual journeys that you will be able to take to raise your consciousness and to have the tools to go within and learn about yourself and learn about others and learn about our world. And it's not a certification, it's not any of that. It's just taking years of our lives and giving you the tools to take it into your own life. And in fact, this weekend, we're picking it out our first retreat space here in the States. It's going to be located here on the beach in Southeast Florida. And so look for that on our website. We're looking to do that in October. It will be a 5-day amazing journey where you come and live at the beach for 5 days. And you get to have a lot of wisdom from a lot of our team. Our whole team will be interacting during that experience, during those journeys. It's a time of self-reflection. It's a time of going into nature, going into a beautiful environment. We have the beach right across the street. We have mangroves that we'll be doing ceremonies in. We have journaling. We have all kinds of, you get to play all kinds of instruments and become that inner musician. You get to sing, you get to think different and be you. And so that's probably a culmination of things we've been working on for a couple of years. And every time we think we're ready, it changes a little bit. And now we've got it to where we're going. And then we'll be having retreats all over the globe in the next year that you can always come and join us at a beautiful place in Mexico or the Caribbean, Costa Rica. We're looking at having one in Spain. And so there's a lot of fun stuff on the horizon.
I'm so excited. I'm all lit up. I'm so excited because I know I get to play with you guys.
Be a part of it.
I know. I'm on your team. I'm team Good Vibrations, and this is very exciting. And these are all the conversations. So you know that I'm just all about it, and each one reach one. And yes, we are all in this thing together. So this is very exciting, Kathleen. I so appreciate your time here. Was there any last thing, or are you feeling complete?
The only thing I'm hearing is that they're saying, don't forget, change your music, change your life.
Oh.
And so think about the music you listen to. Think about the words of the music you listen to. And choose more upbeat, positive music, because it really affects the blood of your cell.
Yep.
You know, our leading researcher that we work with, John Reed out of England, he researches blood, and he is big in the music scene, discovering what music makes you feel the best. And we all thought he was going to find classical music was the best, and it was just the opposite. It was pop music with inspiring words that we sing together and create a harmony. We're at a concert together. We're bebopping along, you know, you're driving in your car, you've had a bad day, you turn on the radio dial and your favorite song comes on, and pretty soon you're dancing, you're moving, and it's changed your whole perspective. So what he also found is that the human voice was the most powerful way to change our blood and change the chemistry of our body. So frequencies change the chemistry of your body on a biological event, I guess is the best way I can say that, to bring your body back into wholeness. So check us out. Email us. I'm great at answering emails and answering questions. I do private sessions. If you want to go into that higher consciousness and relearning and releasing whatever doesn't serve you. And you can find all that on our website. And just reach out to us. We are always here for you.
Oh, Kathleen, I love you so much. This is so fun. And I think the vibration of this whole episode is already waving on all of the sine waves out to the universe. So
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to all your listeners. You're amazing, Heather, and we're so glad you're part of us.
thanks so much. And thanks everybody for listening. Please remember to like, review, and share this episode. This is some good medicine right here. This is Lasting Conversations. We get to the heart of everything.